Well, I am standing in Swiss Alps in Switzerland and standing next to the 2024 Bentley Continental GT Speed. Yes, for the first time in 20 years, in the fourth generation, they have pitched the two lights. It's only one single matrix light, and this latest design actually mirrors itself. There's a lot of tech behind it. For example, it automatically dims down when it sees an oncoming traffic. But more on the light when we start driving. Look at this design. This is beautiful. This is 22-inch rims, and this alloy is also very special. This is one of the biggest brake calipers on a tire of this size on a car like this. This weighs 2.5 tons, and the sleekest thing is that it is a convertible. That's why it's called GTC. There's also a GT model, which is a hard top, but there are 4 seats inside, and the 2 seats at the rear, let me disappoint you, are not of any use for any adults. For the child of you, not in you, it can be used, and of course for your pets and for your small bags. That's it. But the real fun of a GT is when you sit inside the car, and that it started raining. I need to go inside and do some hard driving. Now what you see me driving is the Bentley Continental GT Speed, and you can see that I'm driving in a very sedate fashion, in a very comfortable way. But don't get mistaken, because this behemoth can do 1000 Nm of torque with 771 brake horsepower. This one is riding right now on EV mode, which means that this has an hybrid engine. It's a 4-liter V8 twin turbocharged, and all of that put together gives you a comfort, luxury, just like a gentleman Bentley. And also at the same time, it can become that animal, that mischievous, notorious guy, which you wanted to be on your weekend or when you just want to do it. I'm going to give you a quick demo of how this thing works, because all that controls of the driving modes are situated here, which means that there are buttons placed here, but you can also move the rotatory curve and get to custom. You can see that it's talking to you now, the Bentley, and then you can go from custom to sport mode, which is where all that action is, which is what basically you and I are interested in. Because like I told you, don't get mistaken, because this thing this is going to put a wide grin on your face, because the exhaust note is rapturous. It is not as loud as a Ferrari or a Lamborghini for that matter, but it is better than a McLaren. This is also a Bentley, so don't be going to this car for this, because Bentleys are not known to give you that raucous sound and that exhaust tone, because at the end it's a gentleman's car, which can have a characteristic flaw and get to very ungentlemanly types. This also has the Bentley ride magnetics, which means that the rear wheel steering steers in the opposite direction to get you out of a tight spot. At the same time, when you want to go on a faster speed, this comes in sync with the front wheels, and you go in one direction, no flaws. And the way it controls the road, the way it's glued to the road, my God, it's something that I've not seen in a car of this magnitude in a long time, because it also gets a very large brake calipers. In fact, the largest is riding on 22-inch rims. But the way the steering is so precise, and the way it actually handles itself in corner, because this is also working on a 48-volt system, and the electric powers actually puts it back and doesn't allow it to roll over. And also all that mechanism actually gives you that comfort, that confidence to go all out and ride very hard. And now is the time to tell you and show you something very beautiful. Let's take a halt for a moment with driving. Let me show you a very beautiful feature of the Bentley Continental. The moment you press the ignition button, you see this screen here. This tilts back and the screen comes up. They have done something very interesting to hide the screen. I don't know why they have done this, but this is very cool. This is that childlike feeling when you start the car. It kind of greets you, but why you had to hide a screen and do all that thing here? Anyways, also the driving modes are right here. The moment you put the sport, you can see that loud exhaust noise. You get a hybrid mode, you get a custom made, and you just can't going all the way clockwise. You have to come back after a point and come back to the place, because this actually takes the spot where it's going. This is all that it has got. It's got seat massager, which is great. It's got ventilation. It's got all the tech that you can think of in today's time and age. You get it. The upholstery is flawless. It looks very good. The veneer is very good. In fact, you know, the house of Mulliner and Bentley has the best collection of veneer to choose from, handmade, hand-picked, and you can't go wrong with customizations. You can go all in terms of personalization. The stitching can change, this fabric can change, this clock can change. You can put your own face right in front of you if you want that. Everything is possible. And for that, they have a special division called Mulliner. Now, let's get back to driving. I'm going to enter a tunnel, and where the noise is even louder, it's not the tunnel run, but it is kind of a tunnel run. And my God, this is such a well-tamed beast. It just moves the way you want it to move. It can stop at the pinpoint location, so you know you're not going wrong any time on this car. And what you can go wrong is this, that the paddle shifters doesn't give you that feeling of a clinker. You know, when you shift the paddle shifters, it just does it very boringly. You know, you want that thug feeling when you click, tuck, that noise comes, and you know the gears have shifted. Though the gears are very short and the gears travel very fast, it is there's no lag of any kind. I mean, the way it picks up speed also is very, very instantaneous, because it is hybrid. It gets instant torque. All that is history. So you'll always never be short of power. Now is the time to show you a magic. The magic which happens in 17 seconds. One flick of a button and the GT converts to GTC, the convertible Bentley. And it all happens in a very, very beautiful manner. And as you can see right now, all around me is so beautiful. And with the hood down, with the topless model on top of you, you don't want anything else. I'm again heading to a tunnel, which now sounds even more wilder. You see the tunnel? You saw that car pass by. We were just 3 inches away from each other, because you have so much of confidence in this car that you can zip past anything on a precise location. Remember, we are driving in Switzerland, where the white marker is your life lane. If you cross your life lane, you can be hit by anything which is coming your way, because the other person is genuinely believing that you are going to follow a lane. And on these winding roads, this white lane managing becomes very difficult, especially at these high speeds. And that's where all the mechanisms of the Bentley comes into play. It is surely a car which you want to drive every day, which you want to go for a grand tour and come back home smilingly. This is that car, you know, which actually wears a tuxedo and goes to a boxing ring. It behaves in a gentlemanly manner, and it can become that boxer that you want it to be. Now, I want to ask you one question. If you have been handed over a Bentley Continental GT C and you're driving around the Swiss Alps in Switzerland with this view, what will you do? Yes, precisely. You'll keep your mouth shut and just enjoy this breeze and think of life in more ways than you can think of. What a car! Frankly, what a drive this is. When you are driving like this, in this environment, you can just thank your stars for how blessed you are. Because if you're dealt with a Bentley Continental GT or GTC, an environment as passes like this, everything looks good. Life is good. In my opinion, since it's time for a verdict, go for the GTC, not the GT, because life is too short to drive boring cars. This is cliched, but it's also true. With the roof down, this is a different animal altogether. Also, in my opinion, this is that sort of a car which you can start silently in hybrid power, go about your business regularly like an English gentleman, and then on a weekend or a week or a night out, you can go berserk. This puts out so much of power with so much of control that your chances of going wrong, unless you are sedated with the right spirits, then you can go wrong. In that space, you should not drive this car, because this is a car with sorts of roads on you. It gets romantic, especially maybe because I'm driving this in kind of environment. It competes with a lot of other cars in India when you have to put that kind of money. With that kind of money, when you put, you have to choose very, very wisely. You buy this for 2 seats, not for the 4 seats, and this is a convertible. Now, when you put this against the Ferraris of the world, you have to really ask yourself what you want. You want a car which is gentleman, which is sober, also which can give you that power. Then this fits right there. But if you want something which is just go out and out performance, then there are other options to choose from. But all in all, Bentley has really pushed the envelope. This is a Grand Tourer and it is such a well scooped out car. I mean, there are hardly any flaws that you can make from this. The interiors, the tech, everything is cut to perfection. In today's time and age, every car comes with the whole package of everything, and in that sense they have just done another great job. This is a 4th generation 4.4 liter V8 engine. I love the W12, but the emission norms won't allow that to come back. Also, this puts out CO2 emission which is 1/10 of its predecessor. So that's why we don't have the W12, but the V8 doesn't disappoint either. I would have liked if the exhaust note was more raucous, but given that it's hybrid and given that also it's a Bentley DNA, it is good. I'll see you in the comments. What do you think about the car? Drop in the comments. If you have the money, would you buy this or will you go for something else? It feels like it started raining again. Time to go to my chalet. See you in the next one.